I don't know if I heard this properly, but what I think I understand is that an extreme financial emergency has arisen, which I may or may not be in a position to cover. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're our only hope. Do you remember how we ran laughing out of the theater with that line? How ludicrous, how ridiculous. That's not how it happens. One man. Oh, it's so silly. No sillier than one ignition system is the difference between someone getting to a hospital on time in an ambulance or dying in the immobile ambulance. Never think that a committed individual can't change the world. It's the only thing that ever has. A fire starts with a match. Maybe one match lights another. Maybe one match lights a candle. I hope I'm that match, because I don't see any others. No discredit to anyone else, no credit to me. That's the physics of it. I hope I'm one of millions of matches. But I don't see another one. My entire adulthood has been based on running toward collapsing organizations. While everyone else was running out. And if I thought the situation was savable, finding just one or two or three, at most 4 others that, whether or not they realized it, were yearning for the fire that I could help ignite in them. Everything was there. They just needed a little extra heat, a little extra imagination, a little extra help with the vision. And repeatedly throughout my adulthood, I've been associated with miracles through that process. Well, I've been at this joyfully giving every breath for humanity for about 12 years now. And for the last 8 months, only within the last 8 months, have I seen a candle ready to be lit. Everything there. Already smoldering. And that's the young man that I spoke of yesterday. planetaryspring@gmail.com. If I understand correctly what I heard last night, what always happens in every unviolent revolution, what always happens in every unviolent revolution, our dearest loved ones are the first ones to split away from us. Usually it's temporary, agonizing, years, but almost always it's temporary. I'm thinking of maybe the greatest activist of the last half of the 20th century, Dave Dellinger. Went to Yale. His father was in charge of Republicans in Boston. His dad was a prominent lawyer. And before Dave graduated Yale, he had left, lived among the homeless at the time of the Depression, I think, out in the fields, out in the camps, not as a do-gooder, as a brother. He became one of them, not a dime in his pocket. And that ended his relationship with his father until years later, on his deathbed, or at the time of his dying. When his dad was dying, he said, "Dave, you were right. I'm so proud of you." It always happens. When a revolution starts, an nonviolent revolution, it's because someone saw and became part of the new paradigm. So, like their dearest loved ones are going to get it at the same time? No, least likely, because their dearest loved ones are the most threatened. Threatened for fear for their loved one, threatened for an unrecognized fear of their own paradigm being threatened, their own status quo being threatened. If I understand correctly, this one bright hope that I've seen, this one bright hope for humanity, as the Creator is my witness, as Luke Skywalker was the only hope, as Neo was the only hope, this young friend is the only hope that I see on earth right now. As a match, as a candle might be the only hope to ignite others. And if I understand correctly, one of his dearest loved ones, who blessed their heart, had been financially backing him, backed out of fear for this young friend, out of a difference of vision. The last I knew, this young friend was heading on a mission he conceived of to travel the country via bus to rally people to come on waves of hunger strike here to D.C. end of this year. Nothing short of that will save we canaries in the coal mine, we Bangladeshis, we indigenous Alaskans, we indigenous Canadians from Athabasca, we of the island nations like the Maldives. And I didn't see it till yesterday or the day before. We are your canaries in the coal mine earth that you live in. If you don't stop killing us with your burning of coal and oil, you will have killed your children and grandchildren. If you let that canary die in the coal mine, then the same process that killed the canary first will kill you. I didn't see that, but that's exactly what we are. We're your canaries in the coal mine. I being a Bangladeshi, an Athabascan, an indigenous Alaskan, a Maldivian. The last I knew, this young man's plans were to be on a bus traveling to the most promising parts of the country, where evidence of humanity taking a stand against environmental Armageddon was already in some evidence. Now, it may be that what I understand was he thought with his funding he had enough to get solar panels for me for the work that I do, and that funding is no longer available. As I reported yesterday, it may be that for some reason I don't understand, the solar panel that I have is working properly now. I should know conclusively today or tomorrow. In any case, if I'm understanding correctly, everything I have just went at this young friend's disposal. Within hours of understanding more clearly, the solar battery that I've been praying and working and saving for years, have had for 2 weeks now, can be on eBay and fetch probably $200. If the solar panel in fact is working, it can be on eBay within hours and fetch $200. I have 3 or 4 friends not acquaintances, but friends, a friend is who will take a bullet for you. Unconditionally. And when she heard yesterday that the work I do was in dire need of a solar panel, within hours sufficient funds were in my checking account. Breathtaking goodness. Breathtaking goodness. Unless I hear from her immediately, those funds will be available to this young friend. I see no hope beside this young friend's mission. Did I say the mission will succeed? Did I say I'm a fool, an idiot? I'm not God. But I have, through no credit to me, what we're number one dying for. And as I've often said, I thought that number one thing was heart, was courage. And I'm now realizing that the number one thing we're dying from is a failure of imagination. A fundamental, profound failure of imagination. Most dire, most pronounced relative to environmental Armageddon, environmental Holocaust, due to the continued no charge dumping of all future killing, fossil fuel emissions dumping. Fundamental failure of imagination, fundamental failure of vision. This young friend is evidencing some of the necessary vision. Make no mistake, I take no responsibility for where this young man is, the hope that he represents. I saw it the first time we had a serious conversation, which maybe was the first time we met, I don't recall. It was on or about New Year's Eve of 2011 in McPherson Square Park, where we spoke for an hour or so. Trained in environmental science, a heart that's the product of heartbreak, hardship, the immense love of a father, and the immense love of a mother. I've simply been the sunshine to this rare and promising young tree. planetaryspring@gmail.com. I urge anyone with a heart, anyone with any young people that they love, to get in contact with planetaryspring@gmail.com. The subject line should speak of financial assistance, and inquire as to what financial assistance is required. If my beloved friend that provided funding yesterday for a new solar panel objects to me diverting it to this young man's work, I need to hear that right away. Otherwise, young friend, everything that I have, except for my laptop, except for the Wi-Fi, is available for immediate liquidation, and the funds that I was given yesterday may be as well. If you understand what's at stake, young friend, you will not let pride, discomfort, you will not let anything come in the way of accessing those funds. You need to be strong now.